I'm Naila, and this is Girl, What You Reading? And I know I am late to this one, but can we take a moment to talk about I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jennette McCurdy? We got to. We got to. Here we go. So, of course, I read this one on Scribd, and it was one of the ones that was on my TBR, and I hadn't gotten to it until this month. I know everybody else has reviewed this like 6 months ago, but I just got to it. So, I'm going to review it now. Okay? So, for you all that don't know, Jennette McCurdy was a child actress who played on the Nickelodeon shows iCarly and Sam and Cat. These were after my Nickelodeon days, but I have kids. So yeah, I watched. I ain't gonna lie about it. She was Sam on both of those shows. The spinoff came about and was supposed to be hers, but Nickelodeon did a little switch on her and added Ariana Grande as a co-star. And she goes into that and so much more in this book. This book, I'm Glad My Mom Died. And I can tell you that I am like most other people when I say, I'm glad her mom died too. Sorry, Jennette. I'm sorry. My condolences, but I'm glad she died too. That woman was ridiculously abusive. But then after she died, Jennette had to deal with her grandmother. And turns out, grandma was just as abusive. So, hurt people hurt people. Okay, so I'm getting way ahead of myself. So let's slow down. First of all, I love a good memoirs, and this one did not disappoint. It is one of the few that I would give a 5-star rating to. Matter of fact, I did give a 5-star review on Goodreads. Y'all make sure to add me on Goodreads. Links in the description. This book had me feeling sorry for celebrities, and I'm all about you put yourself in that position when you chose to be in the limelight. But in this particular case, Jennette never wanted to be a child star. Like most stage moms, her mom didn't make it, so she decided to push her daughter, thinking, oh, Jennette's so pretty. She has to have some kind of talent. Let's go ahead and throw her in the limelight. And it didn't matter if anybody else would call it abuse or not. She forced her talent on her, and Jennette hated it. Like all the classes she had to take and all the auditions, especially in the beginning when she just wasn't that good. And she felt more rejection from her own mom than the people who were rejecting her. This book really gets into all the complexities of the mother-daughter relationship, especially with a mother who has cancer and who has been dying from the illness since Jennette was little. And she used this as a way to get her way with whatever she wanted. It was noticeable that she had an eating disorder on both of the shows. I saw it. I didn't want to say anything because, I had kids and I didn't want to be like, oh, this girl got an eating disorder. You don't want to say that to your kids and then have them asking all those questions about what is an eating disorder. But to find out that it was her mother pushing her and showed her how to make herself throw up and calorie count and weigh herself. And I don't know why I was surprised by it, because I've heard a bunch of stories about mothers forcing their children to be a certain weight in that industry, in the modeling industry, and so forth. Whenever there's a girl who has to be in front of people, mothers tend to be that way. But the way Jennette wrote it made my mouth drop a couple of times. And thank God she did have her dad, who wasn't very present because he worked a lot, because they were very poor. And him and her mom, they weren't really that happy, but he stayed because of the cancer. But when he was there, he was there. She had the girl who played Carly Miranda Cosgrove as her BFF. She had this one boyfriend who said, you know, if you keep this up, we can't be together. I'm not for this. And even though he was a smoker and he had his own issues, he still was like, nah, girl, you got to get it together. Now, she did have some not so good boyfriends too. It is in the book. She talks about all of that. But this book was just really eye-opening that you never know what's going on in someone's personal life. And Jennette really tells this story as though you are personally there. I think the fact that she chose to tell the story in present tense as though it's happening right now while you're reading forces you to take this journey with her. Like, this book is like one of those toxic relationships that just keeps breaking your heart the more you read, but you keep coming back for more because you can't put it down. And then by the time her mother died, I was like, oh, thank God. But then there was more. And here comes grandma with her BS. I'm like, this girl can't catch a break. Until she finally was like, nah, I ain't got to deal with you either. Now, I don't think that this book is for kids because there's definitely some suggestive themes in there. She gets real raw and she gets real honest. And she's not that girl on iCarly anymore. She's a full-on adult. So, you know, she talks about it. She talks about her sex life. She talks about her alcoholism. She talks about all of her addictions. And she talks about the abuse. So it's definitely not a child's book. But yes, this one is one that I definitely recommend. It is a 5-star read, and I'm glad I got around to it. So, until next time.